for Vikings. When dealing in with art, they specialized in ornamental metalwork, which was usually jewelry that had the intention of being placed in graves in order to accommodate the dead. For all Viking, for most or all Viking motifs or sculptures usually had a purpose behind it. When speaking of religion, they were pagan at the beginning of this age, but when Christianity came along, they had no problem with adopting another god in line with their own.
Over the 300 years of the Viking Age, and with the expansion of the new land, the economic structure of the communities changed. Around 800 AD, a very lucky farmland in Norway had been primarily country based on the raising of the cattle. By the 12th through the 13th century AD, cod fishing, sea mammal oil, soapstone, and walrus ivory had become intense commercial efforts. The people paid taxes to the kings and tied to the church and traded throughout northern Europe. A centralized government in the Scandinavian countries increased the development of trading places in towns. And these commodities became a currency which could be converted into cash.
As for the political hierarchy during the Vikings time period, at the top of this social class was the king, who was believed to have magical abilities, also a very good hunter and a clever and wise person. After this position is the chieftain, who is skilled in war, fishing, farming, and riding horses. In the third position is the Hall, who is a freeholder who owns farms. Then after this position is the Lighting, who is a person or a tenant who leases a farm from the Hall and also gives payment to them with food. After this position is the Farmer, who has all rights and privileges to society. They tend to the crops, they build houses, and other average things that are within their role. Then after this position is the Loising, which is the bondsman who is free from their owner, and at the lowest position in society is the Loising's son.
There are many important people during the Viking Age, some of which include Eric the Red, who founded Greenland's first Norse settlement, Olaf Tryggvason, who brought Christianity to Norway, and Leif Erikson, who discovered the New World. Also, in 866, York is conquered by the Viking forces. York was a clear target for the Vikings. Launching the assault on Sunday proved an effective tactical move. Most of York's leaders were in cathedrals, leaving the town vulnerable to attack and unprepared for the battle. After it was conquered, the city was renamed Saxons to Jorvavok.
Raid on Lindisfarne, a small island located off the northeast coast of England, marked the start of the Viking migration from Scandinavia. Daily life for most men and women during the Viking Age revolved around subsistence-level farm work. Almost everyone lived on royal farmsteads that produced most of the goods used by the people who lived there. The first task of the agricultural cycle was plowing.
1066 was the conclusion of the Viking Age. The death of Anglo-Saxon King Edward the Confessor led to a power struggle for the English crown. In an effort to reclaim England for the Scandinavians in 1066, Hardrada sailed to England with 300 ships stuffed with 11,000 warriors. After sailing up the river and seizing York, Hardrada's forces were taken by surprise by the Anglo-Saxon troops at Stamford Bridge. Despite the failure, the Viking invasion in 1066 had a significant impact on British forces. Taking on the Vikings at Stamford Bridge had weakened Harold Godwin's forces, making the path easier for a successful invasion of William of Normandy.
The Vikings' well-known history for their fierce raids reflected their rough character and was also used to intimidate victims or enemies. Vikings held no special regard toward churches and monasteries and usually attacked them first because they had the most wealth. Vikings were also great traders, so much though that they eventually opened up new trade routes which helped with Europe's economic revival. The Vikings founded Normandy as an independent state in western France. They conquered England in 1066, which laid foundation for the modern nation. They also conquered southern Italy and Sicily in the 11th and 12th centuries and set up a strong state there just as they did in Normandy and England. The Vikings were also fearless explorers. They founded Iceland, then later Greenland, and North America.